Some of you, I know, adore mail-in voting, also known as absentee voting. And Ohio is really great because we can mail-in vote or absentee vote, same thing, with no reason at all. We don't need a reason. We can just apply and we can vote by mail, and it's awesome. But on March 20th, 2026, our Ohio government passed Senate Bill 293, and that has gone and changed the rules on how we can vote by mail. I have a link in the video description to Ohio Senate Bill 293, so you can go right to the source if you want to read it yourself. And so I wanted to let you know how you vote by mail or absentee vote in Ohio for this November 2026 election as per the new rules. And all of this information will be in the video description as well. So this is for people who live in Ohio. So if you're an Ohio voter but you're overseas, these deadlines and rules don't all apply to you. You're in a different situation. Okay, so the first date here, this is for everybody, whether you're voting by mail or not. October 5th, 2026 is the deadline to register to vote. So you can register to vote online. You also can go to your county board of elections to register to vote up until 9 p.m. on October 5th. And your county board of elections, like where is that? I give you a link in the video description. The very next day, October 6th, is when mail-in voting begins. So the mail-in voting application is Form 11A, which you can see here, and I will have a link to it in the video description so you can fill out your mail-in voting application all by yourself. And so that Form 11A, which is your mail-in application to vote by mail, that must be received by your county board of elections by 8:30 p.m. on October 27th. And so if your county board of elections gets your mail-in ballot application on October 28th, for example, they will throw it directly into the garbage. They've got to get it by that time by 8:30 p.m. So you can, again, go to your county board of elections, and I have a link in the video description so that you can find your county board of elections, or you can apply online. Side note, every time I say your county board of elections, every county has their own board of elections. So if you're just on a road trip through Ohio, you cannot stop at a different county board of elections. That's got to be the county where you live. Okay, and here's the real big thing that everybody's freaking out about. November 3rd, 2026. This is when your mail-in ballot must be received by the County Board of Elections by 7:30 p.m. So if you mail your ballot on November 3rd, like it's postmarked November 3rd, I don't know when it will get to the County Board of Elections, but when it does get there, they're going to throw it away, like immediately into the garbage. There's no grace period here. There's no, it has to be postmarked by date. It is just that it has to be received by the County Board of Elections by 7:30 p.m. So I have on the screen right now, I'm a bit of a hope for the best, but absolutely plan for the worst. I'm that kind of gal. And so in my mind, you should give the mail service probably 3 weeks to be absolutely sure that your mail-in ballot gets to your county board of elections on time. And so if I do the little math, I can see you should put your mail-in ballot in the mail by Tuesday, October 13th. Now, I came up with that all on my own, but in my view, that gives it 3 weeks to get to the county board of elections, and it will be counted. And so there are specific groups of people who need to plan on having trouble getting their ballot in on time, because again, just to repeat, it has to be received by the County Board of Elections by 7:30 p.m. November 3rd. Not postmarked by, has to be there by. And so rural Ohio voters, you guys sometimes have longer mail delivery routes. Sometimes they're less frequent. Sometimes your mail's a little slow. So you need to plan for that, right? Senior citizens, Ohioans with disabilities, sometimes you don't always have access to mailboxes frequently. And so again, plan on having trouble getting your ballot in on time, which means plan on putting your ballot in a mailbox very early. And so this last group of people would be voters without reliable transportation. So these might be students, low-income Ohioans, some rural Ohioans, and even actually some suburban and city Ohioans with that not having reliable transportation. I know a lot of these people depend on the mail to cast their ballots, and so again, plan on having trouble getting that ballot in on time, which means plan on getting that in the mail early. Okay, so that's the basic scheme here and what the rules are for mail-in voting for this November's election. And so now there are some questions that popped into my mind that might pop into your mind. So here's some of those questions and some of those answers. Do you need to mail your mail-in ballot? No. So you can put it in the mail, and like I said, you should do that 3 weeks early to make sure it gets there. But if you don't do it in time, if you're like, ooh, I'm not sure the mail is going to get it to my county board of elections in time, or, maybe you just don't want to mail it, you can put it directly in your county board of elections drop box. So this is newer. Every county has a county board of elections, and each county has one single drop box. And so this one single drop box is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You need only walk or drive up and put your ballot in. And you must put it in your county's drop box. So again, if you're traveling about Ohio, you can't put it in a different county's drop box. It has to go in your county board of election drop box. And so in that way, you can drop off your mail-in ballot by hand. It's got to be by 7:30 p.m. though on November 3rd. How hard is that 7:30 p.m. deadline on November 3rd to have that in that drop box? All caps, hard. At 7:30 p.m., a county election official from every county in Ohio will take the ballots from the drop box at the county election board office, and that is that. Anything dropped off after that is thrown away. You come by at 7:45 and put your mail-in ballot in that drop box, they're going to immediately toss it out. It's gone. Anything arriving by mail after that is also thrown away. That is a hard deadline, no grace period, no extensions, nothing. Okay, but what if there's a line at my drop box at my county board of elections office and it's almost 7:30 p.m. on November 3rd? The county election official who's going to get the ballots from the drop box will stand at the back of the line at 7:30 p.m. So they'll be like looking at their watch. At 7:30 p.m., they'll go to the back of the line. Anyone arriving after that will be turned away, even if you've got your ballot in your hand. If you're there at 7:31 p.m., they'll turn you away. Anyone in front of the election official in line will be able to put their ballots in the drop box. Okay, so if you don't want to drop off your ballot at the drop box at your county board of elections, then number one, mail it. I would say at least 3 weeks early so it gets there on time. Also, if you're feeling lazy, unmotivated, or really you're quite busy, somebody else can drop it off for you. Yes, but that person has to be your spouse, your parent, your child, or your sibling. No one else. So if any of these people are going to go drop off your ballot for you at the County Board of Elections, here's something. They must go inside the County Board of Election office and sign a Form 12P, indicating their relationship to you. So if you have your sibling or your spouse and they're going to drop off your ballot at the County Board of Elections drop box for you, they can't just put it in the drop box and walk away. They actually have to go inside the County Board of Election office and they have to sign Form 12P indicating their relationship to you. Exception, if you have a disability, anyone can drop it off for you except your boss, your employer, or your union representative. But if you have a disability and any old person drops it off for you, they also have to go in the County Board of Election office and they also have to sign Form 12P. Okay, so here's another little funny something that's new. If the name or address or other little bits of information that you use to register to vote doesn't match what the BMV system has or the Social Security Administration has, so like what's on your driver's license or your Social Security card, then you will be flagged. So they used to run this cross-database check every year, but now it's every month. And so if you get flagged because your name has a hyphen on your voter registration but doesn't have a hyphen on your driver's license, or some other kind of minor issue, you will be sent directly to the principal's office. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, if there's a mismatch and you get flagged, your county board of elections will notify you. And then you have until the 14th day before election day to resolve this. And so if you're flagged, they notify you and then they tell you exactly how to resolve this. And so again, because this can happen, you should plan on returning your mail-in ballot, like putting it in the mail or putting it in your county drop box very, very early, weeks early. That way, if there is a mismatch of some kind and you get notified, you'll have time to fix the problem and resolve it so that your vote gets counted. So notably, this new rule for mismatches in minor voter data is something that these people specifically need to look out for. So women who've changed their name after they've gotten married, or sometimes men and women combine their last names into some sort of mashup of two last names, any name change like that, and this could be a problem for you as far as voting data mismatch. Transgender people who've changed their name, newly naturalized citizens who may still show up as non-citizens in some outdated databases. So these can all be mismatches that'll get you flagged. Even if you are a voting citizen, everything's cool. And so to not have this kind of problem, or to get your notification early so you can handle it, you need to return that ballot, your mail-in ballot, very early. Drop that in the mail early, or go to your county board of elections office and put it in that drop box early. If you are keeping up with the news, there's one other thing you might have heard of and you're not sure about, because this kind of splashed in the news for a little bit. So when you have your mail-in ballot and you voted for all the people that you want and you do all the instructions to put it back in the big envelope and all of that, do you need to put a photocopy of your photo ID in the envelope when you send it back? No, you do not need to do this. There will be no instructions to do this, and you do not need to do this. There was a little recent piece of legislation passed by Ohio Republican lawmakers. So this was Ohio House Bill 472. I'll have a link to that in the video description. And so Governor DeWine, they passed Ohio Bill 472, but he did something called a line item veto. Means he crossed off this one little thing about needing a photocopy of your ID in the envelope when you send it back. He was like, no. And because he vetoed that, that means it's not the law. And just in case you're interested in what our governor said about that, he said that to require your ballot to be returned with a photocopy of your ID is, quote, all burden for little benefit. And he said it's completely unnecessary because Ohio's mail-in voting system is already highly secure. That is true. I'm going to do another video on election security. And in that video, I'll give you some more information on how secure our Ohio voting system is, and you'll start feeling pretty good. And also, I'm going to add in here, because this YouTube channel is looking at what our two Senate candidates think about various issues, they actually both do have something to say about these new mail-in absentee ballot rules. So Sherrod Brown is not in support of these new mail-in ballot rules. He feels that the new rules act to suppress voters when Ohio mail-in voting is extremely strict with rare cases of voter fraud. Specifically, the fact that your ballots have to be received by 7:30 p.m. on November 3rd, he feels this is fundamentally unfair because it punishes voters for postal delays, which are beyond their control. Checking minor data mismatches across systems in the state, he feels that that creates unnecessary hurdles for legitimate voters. In direct opposition, Jon Husted is very much in support of these new mail-in ballot rules. He says the new rules make it, quote, easy to vote, hard to cheat. That seems to be his slogan and a bit of a Republican slogan right now. Easy to vote, hard to cheat. And so with the rule about ballots being in by 7:30 p.m. on November 3rd, he feels that this creates public trust in the results. And then the looking for minor data mismatches across the different Ohio systems, he feels that this defends against voter fraud. Okay, so I'm going to put this back on the screen here for a moment, just so I can say most people who do mail-in voting do actually put their ballot in the mail. And so if this is what you're going to be up to, you really should get that in the mail by Tuesday, October 13th. This will absolutely ensure that it gets to your county board of elections on time to be counted. Because I'm telling you, if it shows up a day late or more, they will throw it out, and they won't even be nice about it. They will throw it out hard. And so now on the screen, as I do at the end of the videos, here are all of the more broad voting registration type Ohio dates to keep in mind. And in the video description, I have links to the new mail-in voting rules so you can see, and other things related to what I've talked about here in this video.